Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another live stream and welcome to the dissection of another depressing Chelsea performance. Just lost 2-0 in the first leg of the Champions League quarterfinal to Real Madrid in the Bernabeu. And truth be told, ties over. Real Madrid didn't even get out of second gear. They barely had to do anything today. We just gifted it to them. Offered absolutely nothing other than 2 chances in the first 10 minutes. We had one opportunity at the end where Rudiger blocks Mount's shot. Other than that, non-existent. No passion, no desire, no nothing. Constantly giving the ball away, clueless. No players that don't even know each other, don't know what the plan is, they don't know what's going on. We're not good enough to play at this level. Lampard's not good enough to manage at this level. All in all, just an absolute disaster. If we could just end the season right now, it would just be great because I honestly cannot see where we actually win another game, let alone score a goal. You know, it was a disaster tonight. I mean, look, we weren't expecting to win or anything like that, but we were expecting we might turn up, put a shift in, show some fight, show some desire. The biggest concern for me is that, you know, you don't need motivating for a match of this caliber, and yet only a couple of players actually looked like they were up for it and looked like they wanted to be there. And that was Kante and Thiago Silva. That was pretty much it. Everyone else was just going through the motions. Dharmesh, another tough evening, another tough performance for Chelsea. Thanks for coming as always, bro. Your initial thoughts there, just another really disappointing day.
Yeah, big up Charlie, big up the chat, big up Ollie as well on the chat. Yeah, let's get Charlie to 3K, man. At least some positivity for Charlie. At least,
well, exactly, yeah.
3K, that's it. Yeah, just the game in generally, just like I thought at least we'd show some fight, some desire, something to play for the end of the season. But yeah, it wasn't great at all. Apart from the first 15 minutes, I guess we were good. We created a couple of chances. We were knocking it around nicely. I thought, okay, we might have something up our sleeve here. But after, I think there was a moment in the game where I think might have been a set piece or a corner which kind of sort of caught us off guard. And I think that's when the game changed for us. We kind of just bottled it from then. And yeah, honestly, like the play ratings later on is going to be absolutely brutal.
Oh, mate, no one was good at all.
So, but yeah, I mean, on paper, 2-0 doesn't sound bad, but if you give in context of the red card and the team that we're up against is virtually 10-15% for me that we pull it back, to be honest. And I was just surprised of how sort of bad Madrid were. And it's kind of annoying because Madrid, like you said, Madrid didn't even get out of like second gear. And it's frustrating because if they play like that, if we had raised our game, then I genuinely think we could have got a result. But
mate, they're there for the taking. Like, I'm not like if we
buts, maybes, yeah,
it is all ifs, buts, maybes. But like, this is a Madrid team that's nowhere near as good as the last two, as the Madrid sides that we faced in the last 2 seasons. Nowhere near as good. Yeah. And yet, you know, because we're not good enough, because we don't belong at this level right now, and we don't have someone that can put the ball in the back of the net and an aggressive midfield player that can make things happen. You know, we spent all this money and yet we're missing the 3 things you really need in any good team. A really good goalkeeper, an outstanding holding midfield player, and a centre forward that puts the ball in the back of the net. We have got none of those. And 100%. When you've got none of those, you're in big trouble and you're going to struggle to pick up any decent results in the games that you play. I mean, in terms of the lineup, you know, obviously we couldn't go with the 4. He had to switch it to the 3. He went 3-5-2. I don't really have too many issues with it. I can understand why he's gone for the extra man in midfield because, you know, you don't want to get overrun by the likes of Modric, Kroos and Valverde in there. But at the same time, you know, it makes us so narrow, you know, no width. Really hard for us to get out. There was no out ball. Sterling and Felix were just standing there, offering absolutely nothing. It was like having 2 statues up there. Other than literally the 2 opportunities they had in the first 10 minutes or so, they offered nothing all game. He might as well have been playing with 9. It really was. So, like, whilst I can understand, you know, we need to be compact in the middle of the park, the wing backs didn't really know what they were doing either. There didn't seem to be a communication there. James was going forward, not really defending. He was leaving Fofana exposed a lot in the first half, and Chile was staying back and barely getting forward. And when you're playing, you know, a 3-5-2, your width is coming from those fullbacks. They have to, that has to be right. And that wasn't right tonight. Chilwell was miles off it. James looks unfit, or he just wasn't interested tonight. I'm not really sure what was going on there. But I mean, in terms of the setup, do you think on reflection the 3-5-2 was the wrong thing to go with, given the fact we've signed all these players, we've got so many wingers, and yet we deploy a system that utilizes none of them?
Well, we said in our sort of preview yesterday that the 3-5-2 was sort of the way to go about it. And like when I saw the starting lineup, I didn't have too many complaints about it at all. I thought personally I would have gone maybe Cucurella ahead of Koulibaly. I thought initially at the start, but just generally Koulibaly, I thought he did okay. I mean, was definitely our sort of, I guess, better players, but not that good in a way, if you know what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
but yeah, the front two, I guess we kind of predicted that either it'll be Havertz and Sterling, or Havertz or Felix and Sterling. Like that wasn't a surprise to me, to be honest. And sort of the midfield three and the wing back spoke for itself. So yeah, initially didn't think the lineup was that much of an issue, but just in the game generally, like every time we sort of tried to get out, Felix and Sterling's hold up play was dreadful. Like honestly, every time they sort of tried to touch the ball, I think it was Alaba and Militao stepped in front of them so many times, and you saw the midfield as well just huddle around them and try and win the ball back. Like, and they were absolutely dominated as well. I thought Kovacic was probably the worst player on the pitch. I thought today.
Mate, he was awful today.
Yeah,
so
worst
bad.
Worst player in the pitch, in my opinion. And I do like Kova, but today he's going to get a lot of criticism from me. I didn't think he was good at all. But yeah, mate, just overall, just not good enough. And it's funny you mentioned about a spine, that we don't really have a spine. We don't have a good goalkeeper. Kepa as well has to take a lot of fault for today as well. That's one player I haven't sort of mentioned as well, is Kepa's really messed things up for us over the past like few weeks and stuff. And yeah, no sort of DM, or not good enough DM, should I say?
I mean, Enzo's playing there, and he's decent. He can do it, but that's not where you get the best out of Enzo Fernandez.
I thought he was okay today as well. I didn't think he was
nice range of passing. Yes, he gave the ball away a few times, but so did pretty much everyone. He created more chances.
Yeah.
He created more chances than the rest of the Chelsea team combined. He created 2, and the rest of the whole team created 1.
And so, I was going to say, I watched Manchester City yesterday, like some of the highlights, and obviously some of the first half.
It's embarrassing how much better they are than us.
Well, when you mentioned about the 3 positions, Edison, you got Ruben Diaz, you got Rodri, and you got Haaland, and obviously adding De Bruyne as well. Like from those 5 players, you got your whole spine there. But with us, we got what? Kepa, Enzo,
I mean,
Havertz.
The spine. I mean, if you're looking at the spine, you would say right now, the spine we've got is Thiago Silva, Kante, and maybe Enzo, and that's kind of it. It's not there. And you look at all the teams that win something, and it's goalkeeper. It's a world-class, at least one centre-back. It's a holding midfield player, and it's someone that puts the ball in the back of the net. Yeah. And I think, do you know what? I think this really highlights that what the job that Thomas Tuchel did was unbelievable. To win the Champions League with this team, and to get us into the Champions League 2 seasons on the bounce with the team that we've got at our disposal is remarkable work. Probably some of the best work he's done in his career, because we're now seeing that this is not a good Chelsea team.
Overachieved.
This is a difficult team to coach. Yes, we've got a great squad of players, and some of the most exciting young players, but we've got a lot of guys that are all potential. If you actually look at players that have finished articles in our team, Silva, Kante, that's it. And you would maybe say Sterling, but I don't think Sterling's going to get much better in his career. But the rest of them have all got a lot of room to improve. Maybe Koulibaly's a finished article, but the vast majority of the team are, potential and still relatively unproven. And that's always a difficult situation to be in. Yes, you can win stuff with youth, but you need to blend it with the right level of experience. And we don't have the right level of experience. There's not actually that much experience in the squad at the top level. You've got Sterling, you've got Silva, you've got Kante, you've got Koulibaly. Other than that, experience at the top level is not really there. And it's a massive problem. I mean, mate, what disappointed you most about tonight? Because as I said at the top of the show, I don't think none of us expected to win. But what disappointed you the most?
Do you know what it is? I think it's just not taking the chances, because I actually thought in terms of defensive point of view, I thought we handled Madrid well with whatever they sort of had to deliver us, because I thought Vinicius Junior and Benzema didn't have their best games. Rodrigo was poor, I thought. The midfield were class in my opinion. I think the best that in terms of performance, and their centre backs, but I think it's just not taking the chances, bro. Because say had Felix and was it Sterling who had the chance when Reese's cross, right? It was that one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
If we had scored both of them, it probably would have been 2-2, bro, and we would have
I know, it's
got
all
out
lives
of,
and buts, though, isn't it?
yeah, we literally would have gone out the Bernabeu scoring 2 goals but not even playing well, and then we could take that. We could at least take that into the next game. But I think that annoyed me the most is not sort of taking the chances and just how easy the midfield was overran, because Enzo, Kov, and Kante we saw against Liverpool was actually a good balanced midfield, but obviously Real Madrid's midfield and Liverpool's midfield is obviously like light years ahead.
But what do you know what's mad? Sorry, bro, is that like
go for it. Yeah.
That the most balanced we've looked in the last 3 games was the Liverpool game when Bruno was in charge. Someone that's never picked a team in his life and never managed a game of football. That is the most balanced we've looked in the last 3 games. We were all over the place against Wolves, and we were all over the place tonight. Now, I'm not saying it's easy to, sort this out in a short space of time, but when you're Lampard and you've got some level of coaching experience, the first thing you do when you're struggling is get back to basics and do the basics well. Defend well, keep it simple, stay compact, and we're just not doing any of that. For me, it was just summed up in the final 10 minutes where we're a man down and we switch to a 4 at the back and we're committing up the pitch. Like, where's your game management? What are we doing? We've got enough.
Those subs that make sense, man.
Like we want to stay. We want to stay in the tie. Don't go kamikaze 4 at the back and then start running up the fucking pitch when we're 2-0 down and a man down with 10 minutes to go. Sit in, dig in, take the 2-0, and we try and turn it around at Stamford Bridge. Like, it's just it's the in-game management, the substitutions, and we all love Frank Lampard. He's not a good manager. I've said it and I'll say it again. Not a good manager. Doesn't belong at this level. He's here because we haven't got anyone. Because it's literally the only guy we could get to do the job. He knows the club. He's a familiar face. He knows how it works. But ultimately, he's not good enough at this level. And it's as simple as that for me. He just isn't good enough at this level. I don't care what anyone says. He's not a good enough manager for this level. The in-game management was poor today. And you could see what the idea was. But after 10 minutes, the idea completely disappeared. And,
100% agree with
that. You saw us in the first 10 minutes. You're like, shit, there's the plan. Ball's over the top. Counter-attack in behind. Maybe we can do something here. But as soon as Madrid scored, I don't think we had another chance from whenever they scored their first goal, which must have been about, 15, 20 minutes in? Yeah, 20 minutes in.
Like yeah.
From then, I don't think we had another chance until Mount's shot that got blocked by Rudiger in stoppage time. There was nothing. Do you think I'm being a bit harsh on Lampard, or do you agree? Do you think he is good enough, or what?
No, I 100% agree with what you said, bro. Like, if we're being real as Chelsea fans, we obviously love Frank Lampard for what he did as a player, but as a manager, he's not good enough for Chelsea Football Club. If we're being honest, he's a championship level manager.
Yeah,
and
I would say he gets jobs based on his name. He hasn't got this job.
Yeah.
He hasn't got this job. He hasn't got this job on his name. He's just doing this because we're desperate, and he's kind of the only guy that we could get available at that time to do it. But if we're being honest, he's a bottom half Premier League manager / Championship manager. Like, he's getting jobs on his reputation, not on what he's done as a coach. And it was the same with Steven Gerrard. Admittedly, Gerrard had success and won at Rangers, but Gerrard got the Villa job when he should never have got that Aston Villa job because he wasn't good enough for it.
Yeah, that's true. I think one other thing as well, bro, like that slightly annoyed me as well, was the amount of times we tried to play out the back when we were getting absolutely pressed. I don't know if you felt the same, but every single time,
giving it away all the time.
We're like giving it to Fofana, Koulibaly, trying to play out the back every single time. It was so predictable for even Real Madrid.
Even if the manager wants you to play out from the back, there's a realization when you're on the football pitch that there's actually certain instances that you don't play out from the back. You just use your common sense and just get rid of it, regroup, get back into shape, and go again. Let me just get to a few things in the chat quickly before we move on. Guys, keep smashing the likes. There's plenty of you in here. Let's get those likes up. Still less than 10. We can at least double that to 20, guys. So get those likes up to 20. Let's keep pushing, guys. Get the likes to 20. It's free. It takes you seconds, and it really helps me out. It helps the stream out, helps get it out to more people. So hit those likes. Let's get them up to 20. We're only on 9 at the moment, so let's get those likes up to 20 people. You can do this. Do me a solid here. Right, let's get those likes up. Let's have a quick look here. Today's loss is purely tactical. I would agree. Look, I'm not saying that it's impossible to say would we have won with a better manager and with a better tactical setup. Maybe, but we could also have lost. So, look, it's impossible to say. But yeah, look, Lampard's in-game management and that today was really poor. Really can't accept players not being up for a Champions League quarterfinal and your best players choose to have their worst game of the season. Yeah, I would agree. It's unacceptable in any situation to not be up for a Champions League quarterfinal. Those are the nights you dream of as a footballer. And yet, so many of them didn't give a shit, just weren't up for it. That's inexcusable. Inexcusable. Sacking Potter with 10 games to go and bringing in arguably the worst manager in our club's history, at least we were creating chances. I mean, actually, Potter is the worst manager in our history statistically, but it does go to show. Look, I know it was. Look, I don't look back on Potter and that, but it does go to show that yes, it was terrible under Potter and it was toxic and the football was awful and he had to go. This football's no better. Absolutely no better than what we were seeing under Potter. I almost feel like, what was the point? What was the point? I think they literally caved because of the fan pressure and the reaction at the end of the Villa game. For real. I really do think that because
if you showed, just to say, if you showed someone who hasn't watched Chelsea in a while, let's just say like a friend or someone else watching that game today, they would have thought Graham Potter was the manager today. That's just how it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. It's made no difference. It just makes you think this wouldn't have been any worse if we just kept Graham Potter to the end of the season. I'm not saying that we should have done that or we shouldn't have done that, but the reality is you look at it now and I just think, would it have been any worse with Potter in charge? And I'd say no. I expected us to lose to Wolves. I expected us to lose this game. I don't expect us to beat Brighton. So the reality of the situation for me is that how much difference really is getting rid of Graham Potter going to make? Because everyone was like, oh yeah, it's all Potter's fault. Get rid of him. He's not good enough. He probably wasn't good enough, but it certainly wasn't all on him. I mean, how disappointed are you in the players for not stepping up and just not doing anything?
Yeah, with the name, with sort of the names that we got in the team tonight, I thought João Felix would be right up for it because
he was fucking dreadful.
Yeah, he was dreadful. Obviously he was dreadful, but obviously that Madrid rivalry, I thought there'll be something in him to sort of galvanize himself and sort of stick it on Madrid in a way. But yeah, he was probably on par with Cover in terms of the worst player. We can sort of debate that later on, but yeah, and then you got names like Reece James as well, who I thought wasn't good today.
Was terrible.
If we're being real, I love Reece James. He's one of my favorite players.
He was
in the club,
shocking.
But yeah, I did think he was good at all today. Ben Chilwell as well, big player for us. Lost his head. In different circumstances, obviously, he didn't really. It's not the loss of head type where he got angry. It's just a stupid decision he made in that moment. You got obviously experience with Koulibaly, Thiago Silva, massive players. Didn't turn up. Kepa, 70, 80 million. It's just a joke, man, honestly.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. But guys, let's keep getting these likes up. 7 away from 20 likes now, so keep smashing the likes, people. Stay locked in, smash those likes. Let's get them up to 20. Only on 13 right now. Let's push them up. Let me get to a few more bits in the chat. Just no plan how to play out. No one pushing forward. Everyone standing behind the ball. Yeah, no plan.
True.
And look, I know that most of these guys only met a few months ago in January and things don't click instantly, but you expect things to be a lot better than they are. I mean, it literally to me looked like these guys had never seen each other tonight. It's just like they'd grabbed 11 strangers off the street and just chucked them on the Burnabout.
Start playing football in primary school, bro.
There was nothing there. Why wasn't Mount on from the start? I'd imagine because he's not fit in terms of the start again. He's played that was his first minute since February, end of February, Tottenham away. You know, he's not a world-class operator like a Silva or Kante where he can just be chucked straight back in and perform to a top level.
I don't think he would have made a difference either as well.
No, I don't particularly think so. Look, he did well for that opportunity. Great first touch on the turn, but obviously Rudiger blocks it. And
had to be him, innit?
Had to be him. But that's unfortunately that's what he does, mate. That is what he does. Kovacic was shocking. Yeah, he was absolutely awful. If we sign Felix on a permanent, we're finished. I think, look, I think the Felix thing for me is, look, 22, 23 years of age. We know that he's not like we know he's not prolific. We know his output's not great. And it's a lot of money to spend on him. And I just look at him and I think, we need more from you. Yes, you're playing in a struggling team. And yes, you're adapting to the league and whatnot. And he has made some sort of an impact. But if we're being honest, he's another one of those forward players that, he looks nice on the ball, but ultimately he's got no end product. He hasn't got any end product. And if it's a case of signing Felix or signing a number 9 this summer, we absolutely at no cost should be signing Felix at the expense of any of the positions that need filling. We must sign a goalkeeper, we must sign a number 6, and we must sign a centre forward that puts the ball in the net. Only then, if we've got money left over or if we've raised money from sales, shall we entertain trying to sign Felix. But trying to sign Felix permanently should absolutely not be a priority for us to be doing right now. That is a kind of a bit of a luxury when you've addressed the positions that need to be addressed. Because, again, tonight, as you said, Dharmesh, he's on loan from Atletico Madrid, the City rivals. You think he'd be bang up for it. Apart from his chance in the opening 5 minutes, absolutely nothing from him. He may as well have not been on the pitch.
That literally, like, I honestly forgot he was playing at one point. Like, I was watching it with my brother-in-law. He's like, "Where's Felix?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I forgot Felix was playing." I was like, "What the hell has he actually done?"
Yeah,
it's mad, isn't it?
He's done nothing. He's done nothing at all. Let's have a look at this. If you look at the first goal, we had lost the ball a few times in a similar way. Yeah, the first goal was poor. I think it's Reece James gives it away initially. And then, ball into the box. Fofana loses, I think it's Rodrigo or Vinicius, one of the two.
Vinicius, yeah.
He gets wrong side. It's a flick by Vinicius. Kepa can't do enough on it, and Benzema's alert and there for the
Who'd you blame for that goal, by the way? Because I'm still
I think it's a combination. Fofana gets caught wrong side. And then obviously Kepa perhaps should do better. It's so hard to tell when you're looking at it though, because should he do better there? You could say yes, and you could argue, does Courtois keep that out? Quite possibly, but I think it's tricky. I think it's tricky.
I think it's Fofana, and I think
Fofana
it's
gets
and
caught.
Kepa,
Fofana looked particularly shaky in the first half. Looked very shaky. Looked like someone that had not played on an occasion as big as this before. He grew into the game a lot more in the second half and showed his quality. But that first half particularly, he looked like he was struggling and the occasion was getting the better of him. He looked like someone that hadn't played at this level before. And he hasn't. This is the biggest game he's played in his career. So, the first time he's played at this level as well. So, it's to be expected that he was going to look a bit rusty. Not going to lie, getting a bit shaky now on Felix for more than like 70, 80 million. Yeah, no, Felix. Let's make this absolutely clear. Felix is not a priority. Felix cannot be a priority signing. He is a luxury signing once everything else is addressed. That's the reality of the situation. Felix was available to buy for a very good reason. He looks great, but never scores or creates. I would agree with that. In the last 12 games or 13 games now, because they both appeared tonight, Mount and Felix have got the same output from the last 13 games. I think it's 2 goals and no assists. So,
wow.
Andre Ayew has scored more goals than Felix has since January. So let's not try and pretend that, this guy's the second coming. I think he's a talented player and I think he's got ability. But right now, this is not something that Chelsea should be entertaining. It really isn't, because it doesn't address the problems that we've got. It's as simple as that. Yes, bro, big up. Yeah, slightly worried about. I would agree. I am worried about Felix as well. I mean, look, he's not been here that long. Let's not completely chuck him under the bus, but he's not showing enough for me to entertain the idea of spending £70 million upwards on him. It's as simple as that. What else we got here? Felix has a reputation for not scoring. Yeah, Felix has never been prolific. Felix is, other than at Benfica when he kind of first appeared on the scene, Felix is not a prolific goal scorer. I don't really like. It's another one of those, mate, that I liken it to Kai Havertz a little bit. Probably a bit more skillful on the ball, but it's another one of those where you don't really know what his best position is.
He's like a quicker and more mobile Kai Havertz, if we're being honest. Like with Felix, it's just it looks good for a few touches here and there. Can dribble past people, but when it comes to the final third, 1-on-1, you just know he's not going to score. You don't have confidence in it. So
no, you don't have confidence in it. You absolutely don't. But let's wait and see what happens. But as I said, it's not a priority, and it was a really, really poor night for him. Let me just get to a few more comments in here. Players didn't care. No, they didn't. This is what happens when you don't have a recognised striker to lead the line. Poor goals to give away tonight. Yeah, they were poor goals to give away tonight. Both were so avoidable. If Fofana gets caught wrong side, Kepa perhaps should do better. I mean, Dharmesh, how disappointed are you in the second goal, by the way, mate? The fact that Asensio is just standing there in acres of space on the edge of the box, firstly. And then secondly, when he receives the ball, no one is rushing out with any urgency to try and charge that shot down.
Yeah, just lost focus, just lost the rhythm of the game, to be honest. And as soon as that ball came in, I'm like, who the hell's closing him down? Who was it meant to be closing him down? I don't know who the closest player was. Was it Kovacic? Was it Reese?
I think I've seen Cucurella was relatively close as well, but I can't recollect who the closest was.
But I think for me, I think that lies on Kepa. I'm sorry, you have to save that. Like, I know, obviously,
it's quick. It's pretty quick. It's tough, isn't it? When you're not a goalkeeper, like I'm not defending Kepa anyway, but when a ball comes fast at you and it's going through legs, but he does get pretty close to it. He should do better. What I would say is a top goalkeeper saves that, and we're now finding out that despite how good Kepa's been for us and like where he's come from to where he is now, he's not good enough for this level. It's as simple as that. You saw the difference at the other end in Thibaut Courtois, what difference it makes having a top-class goalkeeper. And we don't have one of those. And please don't go and sign David Raya from Brentford, because that is not the answer either. If we're going to address this goalkeeping situation seriously, go and get Mike Maignan from AC Milan. Go and get Ter Stegen. Go and get someone of that caliber. That is the only way that we're going to improve in the goalkeeping position. David Raya is not an improvement on Kepa. He's just bigger. That's it. Cucurella at fault for the second goal. You mean the red card? Yeah. Look, he gets sucked in and he has to pick his man up. But then I also think Ollie mentioned it in the chat earlier that if there's perhaps a more competent goalkeeper in the sticks and someone they've got more trust in, then maybe Chile doesn't feel the need to make that foul.
It's like the shot just went slow motion. Like, I don't know if it was you, but when the shot, it wasn't a clean hit. Like, it was one of those ones where it counted a little bit, went through a couple of legs, but you have to save that. I'm sorry. Like, if this was Courtois goal for us or Czech, we expect them to save it.
Yeah, it's because they're top class goalkeepers. That's the problem, guys. Let's keep getting these likes up. 6 more likes to 20. Keep smashing the likes, people. If you're locked in, if you've not smashed a like, make sure you do. Let's get those likes up. 6 more to the 20 mark. Let's get us there. And also, people, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. On the road to 3,000 subscribers, less than 300 to go now. Desperate to get there before the end of the season. So please make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're locked in now and you haven't done so already. We need a new manager ASAP, then let him choose who goes and stays. I'm thinking no European 2 matches for 2 seasons and a rebuild. Well, we obviously need a rebuild. This we touched on yesterday in the preview. The sooner we can get this managerial situation sorted, the better, because then we can start planning for next season. Because how can you plan for next season in the summer transfer window when you don't know who the guy's going to be that's going to be in charge? So the sooner we can get some sort of pre-agreement in place or an agreement in place, whatever it takes, for who the new manager is going to be, then the better as far as I'm concerned. 0 leaders in the teams, bunch of individuals, but no one to bang a few heads together. Yeah, there's no one there, absolutely no one. Dharmesh, how important for you is it, mate? That what do you think's happened to the leadership? Where are they? You've got about 2 different captains a game every week. It seems to be a fucking different captain. How much of a problem is that to you?
Yes, a massive problem for us. Like, we don't really have a set in stone starting 11 like you see with the top teams out there, like the Cities, the Barcelona out there who are top of the league. You see Arsenal as well. You can pretty much predict their starting 11, but with us, it just changes every week. And we're like on these previews, bro, we're trying to second guess what the manager's going to do.
We've got no idea.
We've got no idea. And like, obviously, injuries has played a part in it. Obviously, all of our leaders have been out. And N'Golo Kante has obviously been out for the most part of the season. Thiago Silva has been out most recently. Azpilicueta, arguably, is our leader as well. He's been out. Cover's been injured at times as well. So there's that as well. But at the same time, like, as I mentioned before, they're not really standout leaders compared to like other teams have, in my opinion.
No, we don't have any standout leaders, and that's the problem. When it's no point looking back to what we used to have, but it's just not good enough. It's simple as that. The reality of the situation is that I mean, how alarming is this fall off, by the way, as well, that only 12 months ago to this very day, we went to the Bernabeu and scored 3 and almost pulled off an absolute miracle. Fast forward 12 months, we don't even belong at this. We don't even belong at this table anymore. You know,
Yes,
mate,
it's
we're dining at the top table, but we don't deserve to be. You know, it's as simple as that. You know, we're down, mate. We are a bottom half Premier League side, and we don't deserve to be where we are right now. And it's quite obvious. But I mean, I don't think any Chelsea fans expected this season to be amazing, but you know, the difference a year makes is quite remarkable. You know,
I can't justify it. I just can't. Like, I just don't know how. Like, I guess some of the players we had last year, like even 1 or 2, like obviously having Rudiger, Christensen there, who else as well? Like, I know obviously we didn't like them as footballers, but having players like, I guess, Fernand, Alonso were good last year in the fixture against Madrid last year. Yeah, Mason Mount was class last year as well. It's just, yeah, man.
I think
honestly
having a
why.
world class manager as well makes a massive difference.
Yeah, it does make a difference. Yeah,
it makes a
yeah,
huge difference. You know, it makes a huge difference. I'm not saying we would have won tonight, but you know, you feel more confident going into games when you've actually got someone on the sideline that knows what they're doing. I'll be honest, and this might be ridiculous. I actually think we had a better chance of winning tonight if we had Graham Potter in a dugout. I really do, or certainly no worse. That's I don't think there's any worse.
I don't know, maybe
it's as simple as that. Let's get through some more things in the chat, by the way, guys. Barring Fofana, our summer signings are absolutely poor. Not counting Chukwuemeka, did not play that much. I would agree. You have to look at it and you think, on reflections, Cucurella's not been good enough this season. Neither is Koulibaly. Sterling's been awful. Fofana's the only summer signing that looks decent, and that's the problem. I think we can safely say, Charlie, the dressing room is Chelsea's biggest problem. Yeah, it is. Attitude, lack of belief, lack of characters. We're just not a team. Chelsea needs first to get rid of some players that have poisoned the dressing room and get a tough manager that cleans up. The squad clear out this summer is going to be so important. You know, it's so important that we get rid of the people that don't want to be here. We get rid of, if your contract's up in 2024 and you don't want to be here, get rid. I don't care how good you are or what your name is. If you've got no intention of signing a new contract, get rid, get out. You only want players that actually want to be here.
Cash in as well, because we're going to need some of that funds as well.
Yeah,
if we want to sign
we are
the players that we want. So yeah,
Napoli, Chelsea, Bayern, Benfica, all out in the quarterfinals. Well, I mean, Napoli aren't Napoli. out. Napoli are only 1 down with the tie at home. They're banging that still. Benfica 2 down from the home leg. To be fair, Inter are a funny side. You know, I wouldn't completely rule Benfica out of that. I think Bayern are dead and buried though. We know City have imploded in Champions League before, but I wouldn't expect an implosion from them at all. Anyone who says no, tie is on tie is over poll is seriously deluded. Yeah, do you know what? Like, I don't know. I haven't checked the stats on the poll, but yeah, the tie is over. We've got 83% saying that the tie is over, with 17% of you saying the tie is not over.
I think that's just hope from Chelsea fans, which I don't blame.
Fair play to you. To that 17% that have said the tie is not over. If you could send some of that belief, the players' way, that would be massive. 3-4-3 is our main formation. Don't know why managers keep changing it. These players are only coachable. Yeah, Dharmesh, would you agree, mate, that the 3-4, having the 3 systems we've seen Chelsea play this season, the one that we look most comfortable in is the 3-4-3. And you do have to wonder, why are we constantly changing formation? Even a 3-5-2 is still a back 3. It's very different, though, to a 3-4-3.
Yeah, 3-4-3 definitely suits us. We've seen in the past as well, obviously with Tuchel in charge, even when Lampard was in charge the first stint, like we saw that the 3-4-3 worked a treat for us. And I guess specifically for this guy, I can see why we went for the 3-5-2, just because of that midfield of how good they are. Like, sometimes you kind of have to adjust to what you're up against in a way. And we obviously said yesterday that it was the best way to go, but for that specific game. But against Brighton, I definitely want to see us go for a 3-4-3 again, because we can add that extra attacker as well, like maybe like a Mudryk or someone else, or maybe Madueke, Pulisic, or someone
I'm
like
really, I mean, I think I'm surprised we didn't see Mudryk introduced earlier. As soon as we went down to 10 men, we were obviously never going to see him. But,
that. Yeah,
you know, the fact that the guy played outstandingly well for Shakhtar against Madrid in the Bernabeu earlier this season, the fact, you know, that we need an outball, we need someone that's got pace and can exploit players 1v1 and can, you know, take advantage of any mistakes potentially. And we just didn't see him. I thought the subs were dreadful tonight. You know, obviously, yeah, Chalobah had to come on to replace Cucurella came on to replace Koulibaly, no issue there.
injury.
I thought the subs were really poor tonight. I mean, I'm not saying we could have done too much different, but you know, I would have maybe you could have kept with the same formation, or you could have switched to a 3-4-3. I don't know why I didn't switch to a 3-4-3. You know, and then he goes back for gung ho like a fucking basketball match towards the end. Like I just don't get it. Graham Potter, man. No, I mean, I wasn't. Let me just make this clear. I wasn't saying that he should have been manager tonight. My point is that getting rid of Graham Potter. Let me actually bring this up now because it's a tweet from CFC Daily actually that I do agree with. That essentially saying that, you know, getting rid of Potter is absolutely is going to benefit us in the long term for sure. Let me just bring this up now. Because I think it does raise a lot of good points. Let's bring it up now. Getting rid of Potter will be a long-term benefit heading into pre-season, but my word, the timings of the decisions across the season have been so delayed and basic, it's held us back. Unless there was an untenable reason, Tuchel should have had to the World Cup break or even sacked before we kicked the ball after what happened in pre-season. Potter should have gone before we even got to the point of losing to Villa, so he might as well have had the season. Knee-jerk, out-of-sync reactions on top of a transition season is a dangerous combination. And I actually think that is absolutely spot on. I mean, Dharmesh, you look at the decisions that have been made, and I've praised the owners. I'm big fans of them. I think the ambition, the investment they've shown is second to none. And, you know, the amount of time they gave Potter can be looked as stupid, or it can be looked as, you know, admirable because they really want managers to have as much time as possible to work it out. But when you look at the decisions that have been made over the course of the season, you have to say that the decisions that the big decisions have all been wrong. You know, if you're going to sack Tuchel, sack him as the tweet says, sack him before the season even started.
Yeah.
Or at least give him to the World Cup break. What is the point in sacking a manager in September? You should have just done it before the season started, because you've given someone a summer window and you've brought in a manager who's totally different a month or so after the window's closed. He should have had to the World Cup break, or he should have been removed. And then Graham Potter gets to the point where he should have been removed long before this Aston Villa game. By the time you get to the Villa game, there's no point getting rid of him, really.
No, that's definitely true, bro. Like, the decisions itself aren't wrong, but it's just the timing of everything is just wrong. Like you said about Tuchel, if you were to sack Tuchel, sack him in pre-season or even when the season ended, just so that the new manager can come in, decide who he wants, who he doesn't want, and then obviously go with a clear plan into the season to sort of bring in the players that you want, the kind of system you want to play as well. And then obviously with Graham Potter getting sacked, like, I know obviously we were crying out for him to be sacked eventually, but it should have happened after Southampton at home, in my opinion, when we lost that game. I know obviously a lot of fans were calling for him before, but I think that was the last straw for me, and it should have happened then because we had the international break, I believe, just after that as well. So that would have been a perfect time for the new manager to sort of bring his own identity, his own ideas, his own formation. And I think the fact that bringing in Lampard as well has been another bad decision. In terms of
it makes sense
not having a lineup
in the situation, but
the timing of it, the timing of it, for example, like had we sat Potter after the Southampton game, we could have interviewed all these people and then brought them in at the time, and at least we still would have had a competent manager to sort of manage us for the rest of the season.
That's the problem. We don't have a competent manager.
Exactly, yeah. And then this Lampard appointment's like rushed, is panicked, I guess, as well. I was for it, and to the end of the season, just why not at this point? But
we don't have another option. I mean, the other option was Bruno to the end of the season,
and obviously he didn't want the job. He didn't want to stay, which is fair enough, I guess. Like, if your main guy obviously goes, of course you want to sort of follow wherever he goes next. But I think the decision itself don't think they're bad decisions, but it's just the timing of everything is really bad.
It just goes to show that there was no plan for this situation. There was no plan to get rid of Potter.
No,
they
no.
I know things were coming out that they started initially thinking about it after the defeat to Spurs. There's so many points where Potter could have gone. And yeah, I think that sums it up. The decision making, not necessarily the wrong decisions, but the timing of the decisions has been really poor. And it set us back massively. And as the tweet says, with that coupled with the fact that we are in a transitional season, it's a recipe for absolute disaster. And that is exactly what we're seeing. 6 hours, no goals. What is the answer? I don't know. That's the million pound question. No one knows the answer. But this month's goal of the month competition is looking good. No goals so far in the 4 games we've played. 0 goals. Yeah, we just need to end the season now. Todd said it was going to be 3-0 today.
Don't remind me of that, man.
In what I would say in defence to him, he's hardly going to come on and say that his team are going to lose. That's all I'd say. But yeah, those sort of things aren't helpful when you're shit. Cover and Gallagher, the only I see when they play is chaos. Yeah, it was chaotic today. No one really knew what they were doing. Felix is enjoying his vacation in London and on the pitch, flick and flare. No final product, doesn't track back. I would agree on that. Vinicius is the player Callum could have been. Yeah, quite possibly. Vinicius is outstanding, but you sort of forget about Hudson-Odoi. He's kind of been written off. He still only is 22. I'm not saying he's got a Chelsea future, but his football career definitely isn't over. But that injury massively set him back. Graham Potter wouldn't have done better tonight. I think has no experience in the Champions League. Well, he does because he's not massive experience, but he's got about the same amount of experience as Lampard does. Lampard had the group stage 6 games. Potter's had about similar amount of games. So Potter has got as much Champions League experience as Lampard. So I'm not saying he would have done better, but he certainly wouldn't have done worse, in my opinion. That's kind of the point that I'm getting at. Potter hapless team selection substitutes, constant chopping and changing has brought us. No, I don't think it's just that. I just think the reality of the situation is this group's not good enough. It's as simple as that.
How many managers have we been through to sort of know that, basically?
This group was on a decline under Tuchel. This group were never good enough under Potter, and this group under Lampard is still not good enough. Simple as that. Clueless, gutless, no pride, no passion. Not a Chelsea team. Yeah, they're not. They're just playing as a bunch of individuals. There's nothing team-like about this setup at all. Look at manager decisions, appointments, which are most important, shows no ambition. No, I don't think spending the money on players is irrelevant. That is ambition because they've come in and shown that they're prepared to invest and, they're picking up some of the best young players in world football. But you do have to get the big decisions right. And so far, the really big decisions, they've not got them right. But what I would say is that absolutely the foundations are in place for this to be a success. It's just unknown how long it's going to take for us to be a serious club and competing again. That's the bigger question. Second goal shows lack of organisation. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Frank's too much ego. Yeah, Lampard speaks really well. He says all the right things. He says the things that people want to hear and the things that we know are true. But he doesn't take he takes no tactical responsibility at all.
He hasn't learned from his last stint and hasn't learned from Everton as well.
He hasn't learned. He hasn't. It's as simple as that. I don't think we can say we don't have competent owners because they've literally been here 5 minutes. I think it's way too early to judge. Yes, you can say the big decisions that they've had to make, they've got them wrong. But, I don't think it's a complete disaster. I really don't. I think this.
Let's just say there's a lot worse owners out there than ours. I think that's the least of our
exactly.
worries, in my opinion.
I think Kai Havertz. Oh, look, PG. I appreciate you tuning in. We're not having this Kai Havertz conversation again. We've been having this Kai Havertz conversation for almost 3 years now. He doesn't have the highest. He doesn't have the highest potential. He doesn't. I agree that actually it probably would have made more sense to play Havertz from the off today, just because he tends to turn up more often in Champions League games, and he's actually someone that offers more of a physical presence than Felix does, and would probably be able to hold the ball up a bit better. But yeah, he's not. I'm not having this Havertz playing out of position. What is Havertz's position if he's playing out of position tonight? I've got absolutely no idea. This will end Frank's chance of ever getting a top job again. Legend as a player, but shocking. I think that I would have to agree with that. He's not a good manager.
100%.
Shall I make a vid on this? On what? I'm not sure what you mean. This is a good point. What happened to that to that mentality coach they had. That was lauded as a great appointment at the time. That obviously hasn't fucking worked at all, has it?
Never know anything on it,
mate, bro. There's no mentality in this team whatsoever. I just don't get it. But yeah, mate, let's get into some player ratings. This will be fun. This now screams Enrique. We can't afford to risk Nagelsmann. I don't. I honestly think Nagelsmann's better than Enrique. That would be my thing.
It could work, I guess. We never know, but
we will never know. How on earth people still after 3 years? They have to be. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on. But yeah, guys, keep smashing the likes on the stream. Let's get those likes up, people. We're going to get into these player ratings now. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. If you're feeling generous on this disappointing night for Chelsea again, you can also donate via the super chat function. So feel free to also do that. Any donation would be greatly appreciated. But guys, most importantly, keep hitting those likes and keep subscribing to the channel. On the road to 3,000 subscribers. We're now at 20 likes. Let's see if we can get this to 30 likes, people. Let's get this to 30 likes by the time we round out the stream. Let's go, people. Right, get involved.
Popping off today, man. After a loss, man. Let's go, man. Come on, chat. Pick up yourselves.
Let's get this to 30 likes, and let's get and also, guys, get involved in the player ratings. Dharmesh, Kepa, we touched on him earlier. Not a great night for him at all, if we're being truthful.
Yeah,
it was tough. You could arguably say at fault for both goals. Other than that, didn't have too much to do. Made a couple of fairly routine saves from some pretty straightforward shots. But when it really mattered most, he wasn't there.
Yeah, Kepa was. It looked like the Kepa of like. Funny enough, with Lampard back in charge. Obviously, Lampard's in charge now, but it looked like 1920 Kepa, man. That game. Distribution was somewhat good, but at times he lost the ball as well. Like arguably at fault for both the goals. I need to see them both back again, but he definitely could have done better, at least with the second goal. So I'll probably give him a rating of. I'll give him a 1, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's pretty tough for Kepa.
That's just the standards I have in a goalkeeper. Like,
yeah, you just expect a bit more. You really do. Yeah, guys in the chat, get involved. Let us know what you think Kepa should have. But yeah, I think a 1, to be honest. Not good today. Let's move on to Wesley Fofana. As we touched on before, I think first half he was found wanting. I think he was partly at fault for the goal. He got caught wrong side. He obviously made things difficult for himself when he picked up an early booking for a rash challenge. And he looked a bit unsettled in that first half, but fair play to him. He did grow into it in the second half. How would you assess his performance? For me personally, I'd probably look at giving Fofana a 5.5 on reflection.
I thought Vinicius had him for a little bit, but then I think since that yellow card, I think he actually dealt with him quite well. But I don't think he was helped at all by Reece James and Kante on that side as well. Helping him out. His passing out the back was okay, I guess. His recovery pace was decent as well. But yeah, I'll probably give. What was your rating? What do you say? 5.5? You said for yours, or
5.5.
I was gonna go lower than that. To be honest, I'd probably say a 4.5 or a 5, man.
We'll meet in the middle. Let's go 5.
Yeah, just because of the expectation I have of Fofana, like. I think he's
he wasn't. Let's be real. He was not terrible tonight.
Yeah, I don't think he was terrible. No.
No. He definitely wasn't. He definitely wasn't.
Yeah.
No, I give let's give him a 5.5.
Yeah.
Thiago Silva, guy's just world class. You know, he hasn't played for 6 odd weeks. Comes straight back in, slots seamlessly in. Felt he was pretty decent tonight. Defended well. Couple of good clearances, some good blocks. Obviously was subbed off about 70 odd minutes in, or however long it was. That must have been pre-agreed. He probably wasn't fit for a full 90. I can understand that. I'd probably say a 6.5 for him.
Yeah, that's fair, I guess.
But what a difference he makes there. I mean, how much of a difference do you think he made to the back line tonight?
Yeah, it was sort of much more sort of like calm and composed in terms of like some of his passing at the back, his calmness, his presence. So that clearance off the line was pretty impressive as well. I mean, obviously he's done that loads of times for us, but yeah, I thought he was good. He pocketed Benzema as well, for being real. Like Benzema didn't have a sniff. like in front of our defense and goalkeeper today. Apart from
No,
the
he didn't
goal,
have an
obviously, which
awful
was
lot,
like,
did he?
no,
We kept him
he kept him
relatively
quiet.
quiet.
So yeah, but this is probably the highest rate I'm probably going to go for today. It's probably a 6, bro, for Thiago Silva.
Yeah, I think a 6 is probably fair. Let's move on to Koulibaly. Obviously, hopefully that hamstring injury is not too bad. He couldn't continue, but he showed good recovery pace to make up for his mistake in the first place. I thought he actually played pretty well.
Yeah.
I'd probably give him a 5.5. Hopefully the hamstring injury is not too serious, but he was okay. He was pretty decent.
Yeah, saved
One of the very few players that could actually come out with any sort of respect for what they did tonight.
Yeah, I thought that recovery run was it against Rodrigo. I thought he showed his like pace, his power, and some of the experience as well. Like something that Chilwell should have learnt off, to be honest. Like I know we'll go into him in a bit, but that just shows the experience that Koulibaly has over Chilwell in the way not to sort of raise your hand and like drag someone back like that.
Just not be rash.
Rash, exactly. Yeah, which Koulibaly does step up in the Champions League. Like, got to give it to him. Like, obviously with the kind of strikers and centre forwards and wingers he plays against, I guess that plays into his favour. So, yeah, I'll probably agree with a 5.5 or a 5 for Koulibaly. I think he was definitely better than Fofana for sure. So,
yeah, I'd go
5.5.
5.5. Let's move on to the fullbacks then. Dharmesh, you referenced it earlier, mate. This is one of the worst Reece James performances I've seen in a while. I mean, he wasn't particularly good against Wolves either, and I don't know what's up with him right now. I'm not questioning his ability or his talent; it's absolutely there, but he's either not fit or he was just utterly disinterested tonight.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know about disinterested, but yeah, you could tell he just didn't look fit. Every time he got the ball, do you know what it reminded me of? Do you remember that performance against Arsenal when Lampard threw him back in when we lost? I think was it 3-1 or 3-0?
Yeah, I think I lost 3-0 Boxing Day. Maybe
During COVID time, that performance reminded me of that so much, man. Like it was so reminiscent. Every time he got the ball, always went sideways or backwards. I don't remember him once like bombing down that sort of right wing, whipping crosses in. There was only one time when he sort of did that and almost clustered a chance for us. But yeah, I thought Reece was poor. I'll probably give him a.
Mate, I would honestly think maybe a 3 or something. I thought he was terrible.
Yeah, I'd agree with the 3 as well.
The three is awful, mate. To be honest, I'll be real here. I love Ben Chilwell, mate. I think this could be a 0 tonight.
I'm just trying to think. Like before the red card, like how do you think he did? Like before the red card.
Okay. Wasn't involved in the game very much. Defended reasonably well. Didn't get forward at all. Fairly just average really before, but the red card was just utter stupidity. Not only the stupidity to do that, but then to leave your teammates in the lurch with half an hour to go still.
Did he concede after though, before the red card?
After.
Was it after? Okay, yeah. Chilwell, like he set his corners again. We're going back to sort of his first season corners, man. His set piece delivery was shocking as well today.
It was awful today.
Yeah, mate. I think this is the first time I'm probably going to give a 0 on this channel.
Yeah, I think a 0 as well. I'm sorry, Chile. I don't think that's unreasonable as well. Yeah, what a 24 hours for Chilwell. Signs a new contract extension yesterday. Red card in the Bernabeu today. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah. Could only be happening at Chelsea.
Here's a rogue shout. Who would you, if we were to play the 3-4-3 or 3-5-2 again in the next leg, who would you put at left wing back?
It'd have to be Cucurella.
Interesting.
It would have to be.
But then wouldn't Cucurella play left centre back if Koulibaly's out?
Well, yeah, we'd be fucked, wouldn't we?
Would you put Mudryk there?
No, you'd have to play Chalobah. You'd have to go Chalobah. You'd have to go Chalobah in the back 3 if Koulibaly's out, and you'd have to play Cucurella at left wing back.
I say we take a risk and put Mudryk there. Left wing back.
I can't see that happening. I don't really know. I'm not really sure what we're going to do, but it wasn't good from Chile tonight. It's just lucky that red card didn't cost us more than it did. It's lucky it just wasn't earlier in the game. I mean, you look at it and you think, has he just taken the easy way out there?
Yeah, I guess it's tiredness as well from like not getting much help from sort of that side as well with how bad Kovacic was as well, which we'll get onto in a sec. But yeah, definitely one of his worst performances.
I think the red card, everything summed up. I think it has to be. I think it has to be a. It has to be a 0.
I won't argue with that.
No, I don't think we can argue with that. Let's move into midfield then. Enzo, Rain, big up, bro. Yeah, tie is over. Enzo, I thought okay tonight. Gave the ball away quite a few times, but he created more chances than anyone else in the Chelsea team combined. He does make things happen. He's got a great range of passing. I do feel he's slightly wasted playing in that deeper number 6 role, but needs must right now, and we haven't got anyone. So, look, I think okay tonight. I'd probably say maybe a 5 up. Not dreadful at all. I'd give him a 5. I mean, how did you think he did tonight? Because obviously the expectations are high from him. He started every game since he's signed for Chelsea, and he's rarely put in a bad performance. But yeah, it was a difficult set of circumstances tonight.
Yeah, against that midfield as well, he wasn't really helped out by anyone else around him, to be honest. So yeah, lost the ball a couple of times as well. Wasn't really sharp in that position, but I'll probably give Enzo a 5 as well. Like, we've seen how good this guy is as well. It's just the expectation we have of him as well. So yeah, I'll probably give him a 5 just purely based on this game.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Let's move on to Kovacic. I'll be honest, mate. This could be joining Chilwell in the 0 club. This was awful. I mean, I'll be honest, mate. Depending on how much money we've got and how many midfield players come in, Cover's out of contract at the end of 24, end of next season, I think. It would be the end of next season. Yeah, he's coming up to 1 year left on his contract. He needs to be sold. Basically, if he's got no intention of staying, it has to be sold. Simple as that. I mean, tonight was just awful. Giving the ball away, there was just nothing there from Kovacic. He had, in fairness to him, improved in recent weeks, but this was awful tonight. And he is a good footballer, and he's been a good player for us. This was terrible.
I honestly don't know
one of the worst today. One of his worst performances, I think, in a Chelsea. One of the worst performances in a Chelsea shirt. Maybe one of his worst performances ever.
Yeah, I honestly don't I can't think of anything he did good for us in the game. Like, he didn't go on one of those dribbles at all. He didn't pick up a pass. He didn't help defend. Was sloppy. Absolutely pocketed by the midfield. And 0 for Kovacic, man. It's, just. Really
mate, would you keep him?
It all depends on what kind of targets we're going for and who we bring in. Obviously there's sort of better, younger options out there in that position. If we can get them in, then I'd say sell. But if we're really limited and we can't get a midfielder in, then I say keep. That's just the way I see it. And
I think we will get a midfielder in.
Then I guess, maybe it's the right time to cash in.
I'll be real, mate. I think we need to move on from him.
Yeah, I mean,
too many nights like tonight. He's one of those players that on his day is good, but what does he really contribute? He doesn't get assists, doesn't score that many goals. What does he really do?
It just, I think, you summed it up there. Doesn't score, doesn't assist. I guess he's good at keeping the ball. That's probably his best attribute, in my opinion. Helps out somewhat in defense at times, but didn't at all tonight. So, yeah, I mean, if how much do you think we'll get for him? Because we paid about 40-50 million for him.
I think we paid 40 million for him. I think we get maybe, if it's only a year left on the contract, you get 20 or 30 tops for him, I think.
20 or 30, yeah, I guess, I think it's probably the right time to cash in on him. He's been a great servant for the club. I think he's been one of our better players for the past few years and stuff. But this season, he's definitely declined.
Mate, I'd agree. Dead in the water, that's a good thing that you didn't see the match, mate.
Wise decision.
That's a wise decision. For whatever reasons you couldn't catch it, you've done yourself a favour there. Most disappointing thing for me was the general body language and attitude of the team. Absolutely agreed, and it's never become more. The lack of leaders and lack of experience on the pitch has never become more apparent than it is this season.
Yeah,
we are desperately short of characters and leaders. We've got none. You look on the pitch there, leader Thiago Silva. That's it. No one else. Fofana, I think, could become a leader. Enzo could become a leader, as could Reece James, but there's no leaders. Only chance we had today was counter-attack, yet Mudryk was left rotting on the bench. Look, as soon as Chilwell got sent off, Mudryk was never coming on. So, it's disappointing. I think he could have really been a positive here. And I really don't know why. Just on Mudryk briefly, mate. Why do you think he's not playing much? I don't get it. You know, we spent big money on him. I know we've not bought him in to make an impact instantly, but I would have thought he'd be getting more minutes than he is. Like, he deserves more minutes because the others that are constantly playing are doing absolutely nothing.
I think it's a system that we're sort of playing as well. With the 3-5-2, you can really only have like
3-5-2. He's got no in.
Yeah, no chance. Yeah, I mean, like if we stick with his formation, then he doesn't in that position. I feel like he's wasted. I think like if Sterling's honestly better in that position than Mudryk is, and that's not even saying a lot about Sterling. But if we're going with his 3-4-3, I guess, or if Lampard does revert back to revert back to the 4, then Mudryk has to play on that left wing for sure. But yeah, maybe he's just not ready. He's not ready. He's not cut out for the Premier League just as of yet. Still young and stuff. Had not played a lot of football recently, due to events out of his like sort of control. Yeah, young as well. Pressure, price tag, and stuff like that, all playing a part. Yeah, I'm still on the sort of watch list with Mudryk. I'm just like, let's just see what he's like with the run of games for 90 minutes. He hasn't played a full 90 for us yet, so
no, he hasn't.
Yeah,
he absolutely has to start on Saturday. Simple.
Yeah,
as
against
that.
Brighton. He has to. Yeah.
He really does. Let's move on to Kante. I thought he was superb tonight again. Looked probably the best player on the pitch. Wasn't particularly difficult to do so, but you can tell the class that he's got. He's everywhere he gets about. He breaks up play. He's all over the place. He is world class. He probably, along with Thiago Silva, is the only world class player we've got. Yeah. He was great again tonight, and it's great to see him back playing, and great that he's back fully fit again. And hopefully, the new contract will be announced pretty soon, whether it's a 1-year extension, 2 years, whatever it is. You know, this is really important that we.
I think the rest as well that he sort of had. Like, I know obviously he's been injured for a long time, but I think the fact that he hasn't played for almost a year has kind of helped him in a way, sort of recover from like the past like 5-6 years where he's been constantly playing every single game and that intensity as well. So yeah, I thought Kante was good today. I'll probably give him the same rating as Thiago Silva. I'll probably give him 6 today.
I'll probably go 6.5. I just think he was. I think he was a bit better. I think he was a bit better.
Fairs.
Let's move to the front line then. This is going to be very, very low. Let's start with Sterling. I'll be honest, mate. I was reasonably happy with us signing him in the summer, but the situation now from the summer is totally different. If we were recruiting now, we should never have signed Sterling, in my opinion. I just don't think he fits what we're trying to do. He was awful tonight. He's been terrible all season. Yeah. I just don't see what he offers, you know. Now that he's out of an elite team and an elite setup at City, his frailties and his weaknesses are massively exposed, and he just doesn't fit in right now at Chelsea, I don't think. And I think it's easy to look back now, but you know, you look back and you just think it was the wrong decision to sign him.
Yeah, I mean that's harsh words, but it's facts, bro. Like I can't even disagree with that. Like at the start of the season, I thought Sterling would be an X. I thought he'd be one of the signings of the season, like in terms of like Premier League players, and for us as well. I really thought this move would work out. But the way you put it, bro, it's got me thinking. It's like, yeah, like I can't disagree with it. Like with the players that we've got, the player that he's become outside of the Manchester City system, like without creative players, he's not gonna. You're not gonna get much from Sterling at all. He's not gonna create a goal out of nothing. He's not like Hazard or like Salah or someone like that. He's not going to be that kind of player. Like if we have like, let's just throw in James Maddison in there, for example, or like a couple of creators in the team like Odegaard, like he would absolutely do well in those kind of teams. But we just don't have any creative players. But maybe let's just say maybe we sign a DM and maybe push Enzo further up the field.
Yeah,
things maybe could change, but that's just like I don't think it'll change much.
Sterling's just not. I don't think Sterling's good enough.
Yeah, I can't even argue with that, bro. If I'm being honest now, like I thought at the time it was a sensational signing. That initially we got was happy when we signed him. I thought it was a shoe-in for.
I mean, I've always
one of the signings of the season, but it's gone horribly wrong.
I think it's a bit harsh to like write him off after less than a season, but I think it's clear that I don't really know where he fits in this Chelsea team. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
And like taken out of that elite setup at Manchester City, all his frailties are massively exposed.
It's true, bro. 100% agree with you. Like now,
He's just
reflecting back on it, it's rating for him. Apart from that chance that he had from James, which I thought he should have done better with. What else did he really do? I don't really
nothing, mate. He did nothing. Him and Felix were just stood still most of the fucking game.
I'll probably give him a 1 for this game. I don't know if
I'd
that's too
probably
harsh or too nice.
No,
I
I don't think so, mate. I think a one is fair. I mean, I don't think he'll be sold in the summer. I'd be surprised. But you know, when you say things like you left Manchester City to come to Chelsea to be the main man, and you've delivered absolutely nothing, then questions do have to be asked. And he was nowhere today. He was awful, utterly useless tonight.
Did he have another one-on-one, or am I getting confused with?
No, I don't think he did.
No,
I don't think he did.
no, okay, no, he didn't. No.
Mate, thoughts on? I know we touched on it earlier, but Felix tonight was a massive chance to impress. He was awful.
Yeah, just very, very, very underwhelming today. I just don't know what he did right today. I mean, that run in the first 2 minutes was probably the best thing he did all game. But apart from that, I think specifically what annoyed me about him was he was trying to be too flary in the game. He was just trying to do too many flicks and tricks, and it just wasn't working. And his hold-up play was absolutely dreadful as well today, I thought as well. Some of his hold-up play was really bad.
No, I agree.
What would you rate him, bro?
Mate, probably same as Sterling. I'd probably just give him a 1.
To go for a 0, man. I can't lie.
I mean, I think to be fair, mate, I think they could equally both have 0. So they were both as shit as each other.
I wouldn't even argue with that, bro. I'll be honest. Like
they were both as shit as each other. It was like we just the simple reality of the situation is we just weren't good enough tonight. We just weren't good enough. Simple as that. We'll just get to a few things in the chat before we round this one out. Any news on multi-clubs? No, nothing. There was something about Toulouse or something a while back, but no, there's been nothing on the multi-clubs.
Wasn't it Strasbourg?
Oh, sorry, yeah, Strasbourg. Yeah, it was Strasbourg. Yeah, there was something on that, but that seems to have gone a bit quiet. I don't really know what's going on there at the moment. Doesn't really seem to be any concrete updates. Madrid just needs to have a few games at left wing. Potter kept playing him too centrally. Yeah, Madrid just needs to run in the side. You know, it's so frustrating when you're a young player trying to, settle in where you're playing 1 week and then you're out the side for 2 games and then you're back in. You can't build any level of continuity when you're just constantly in and out of the side all the time, particularly as a young player. I never liked Sterling. It's a TT signing. He was publicly saying he wanted to sign him ASAP. He came to know he was available. He can only tap in, can't dribble, can't take one-on-one. I wouldn't disagree with that. Most of us preferred Jesus out of the 2. Yeah, I said at the time that I would have been happy with Sterling, but I would have preferred Jesus.
Can't believe we didn't go for him, man.
Just for the versatility, but is what it is. We're not there. We are where we are now. I don't think Bowley's at fault. Sorry, but fans of mid-table mentality. There's no mid-table mentality at all. It's just a realization that we're shit. Every team goes through a down period. You don't have a right to expect to finish top 4 every season, to be always challenging for the big trophies. You will have an off season unless you're one of an unbelievable team like Manchester City, for example, where you
even City have had bad seasons.
But
I think the year we won the league and the season after, and obviously Pep's first season, they finished, I think,
fourth in Pep's first season.
Fourth in Pep's season, and then
I think we just got to be patient. I know it's tough, but we do have to be patient. This season, the sooner we get to the end of the season, the better. As simple as that. Felix, Mudryk, Havertz, Aubameyang. What is that as a front 4?
Not sure.
Not sure. To be honest, I think we need to see. I know people go on about Felix. I don't think Felix is going to start every game because he was bought in to start, because he paid 11 million for 6-month loan. So of course he's going to start. But for me, mate, Felix shouldn't really be in the lineup at the moment. I don't know who should be, but his product's just not there. I mean, none of their products there.
I'll give Oba a game against Brighton, man. Honestly, just give him a game to see how he does.
Jesus left City and showed passion at Arsenal. Sterling has been super poor all round. The only time Sterling looked decent was the first 2 or 3 games of the season, and that was it. He was decent at Everton. He had a good game against Tottenham. He's done nothing since.
I think Jesus is a different player as well to Sterling. Much different player.
Should Chelsea sell Sterling in the summer? No, I don't think so. But if someone was interested in taking him, I think he's the highest earner at the club. You know, he's on. I think he was on over 300k or whatever it is. You know, he's a lot of money for him, and he's not delivering at all. I mean, if an offer came in, I'd be tempted to sell Sterling in the summer.
Just depends what we get for him, I guess.
Just depends what we get from him.
I think he's staying though. Like, he loves London. He's from London.
And who would come in.
So, yeah.
Vinny, best left winger in the world right now. Wouldn't disagree with that. Journos feed Potter hype. The manager who knows nothing about football, listen to them and some fans. No, you can't blame Bowley solely. No. By the way, just because Potter didn't do well here, Potter is still a very good manager. Before he was at Chelsea, he was one of the most highly regarded coaches in the Premier League, and was widely regarded to possibly become England's next manager. Potter's not a bad coach. He just wasn't ready for this step up.
Yeah.
100%. Simple as that. Thought for finals our best player tonight? Yeah, certainly one of. James got cooked today. Yeah, he did a little bit, if we're being perfectly honest. Do you think Aubameyang is any good? No, if I'm being perfectly honest. If you serve him the chances, then he will stick them away. But other than that, he offers absolutely nothing.
Let's see with the new players around us. That's the only judgment I can make, Lloyd.
I mean, he was back he was back in the team. Back in he made an appearance at Wolves. Didn't really offer much. But I mean, I'm not sure. It's a tough one. It is a tough one. But he's ultimately, that was the worst signing of the lot. Signing him. And literally the next game you sacked Tuchel. The only reason we were ever in for Aubameyang is because of Tuchel. I don't know why that was sanctioned. That is probably one of the worst decisions the owners have made. End the season, I've had enough. Yep. Richo, evening, mate. Thanks for tuning in. Is that an Everton shirt?
Yeah, I think that's Everton. Yeah.
Everton fan? Yeah. Fair. Well, big up the Everton fans for tuning in. I don't know. You've probably lost a few more games than us, but we're not far. We're just lucky we've got a few points on the board, and we're not.
We gave you a point, man. It's fine.
And we're not joining you in that relegation scrap. You know, we're lucky. Do you think Cucurella was to blame for Chilwell's red? Yeah, partly because he gets sucked in. He is partly to blame. He does get caught out of position quite a lot, and that's something that he needs to improve on. But again, just because that's happened and it's put Chilwell in that position, you know, you shouldn't be giving a foul away like that. You really shouldn't. I thought it was just a bit of a cheap way out. But yeah, player ratings awful, performance awful tonight, season awful, everything awful. And we do it all again on Saturday when we've got Brighton coming to the Bridge, which I'm not feeling very confident about at all. But let's see what happens. But yeah, guys, seems like a good place to round this one out. Guys, let's try and get these likes up to 40. There's 30, sorry. 6 more likes required. If we on your way out, guys, if 6 of you could smash the likes, it's free. It takes seconds and it would really help me out. Let's get this stream up to 30 likes before we round this one out. And if you're new around here, you're not subscribed to the channel, then please do click that subscribe button. On the road to 3,000 subscribers, less than 300 required now. So please do hit the subscribe button as well. 5 likes to go to that 30. People keep smashing the likes. Guys, thank you so much for getting involved. Lampard rating 2, probably
2 or 1 subs.
Yeah, one or 2. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. A shame that it couldn't be in better circumstances, but it's the circumstances it's been in for most of this season, if we're being honest. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for getting involved in the chat. Thanks for all of your input.
Yeah, big up the chat. Very active today, the chat. Big up yourselves.
Smash the likes on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. Dharmesh, thanks for your time as always, bro. Massively appreciated. Guys, follow Dharmesh on Twitter, on his screen name there. You can also follow me on Twitter. I'm almost at 2,000 followers now, so you can give me a follow there on my screen name as well. And I'll be back not tomorrow. I'll be back probably Friday with a preview for the Brighton game. So stay tuned for that one. But guys, yeah, ultimately another disappointing night for Chelsea. No fight, no passion, no desire. Sooner the season ends, the better. But we keep the faith. We stick with the boys. And I'll be back on Friday. Things will get better, guys. Up the Chelsea. Over and out.